how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14 to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again sent shockwaves through the boxing world, this time by calling out Jake Paul. The timing couldn't have been more dramatic. With Gervonta Tank Davis's fight officially cancelled due to his ongoing legal troubles, Mayweather has declared that he's ready to step in and face Jake himself. But this isn't another exhibition or a quick money grab, according to Floyd. He insists that if this fight happens, it will be under official professional rules, a real, sanctioned bout where every punch and every round truly counts. He emphasized that he wouldn't be moving up in weight or negotiating special conditions, hinting that he's willing to meet Jake straight on, in a fair and serious matchup. This bold declaration has instantly set social media ablaze, with fans debating whether the undefeated champion is genuinely preparing for one last legitimate return to the ring or if this is another masterstroke of publicity from the marketing genius himself.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money.
Meanwhile, the situation with Gervonta Davis has taken a dark and complicated turn. Due to an ongoing lawsuit and a related investigation, the much-hyped exhibition between Davis and Jake Paul has officially been cancelled. Jake's promotional team, Most Valuable Promotions, issued a public statement confirming that they are launching a full internal review and will not proceed with the fight until the matter is fully resolved. The cancellation has left a massive void in the boxing calendar and opened the door for Mayweather's surprising challenge.
The situation, he was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
At the center of the controversy is a civil lawsuit filed against Davis by his former girlfriend, Courtney Rosal, who accuses him of a violent incident on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. The lawsuit includes several serious allegations: battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Court documents claim that Davis dragged and assaulted Rosal through multiple areas of the nightclub, from the stairwell to the kitchen, and even into the parking garage. Miami Gardens police have confirmed that an active criminal investigation is now running alongside the civil case, adding yet another layer of tension and uncertainty to Davis's future in boxing.
Champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Rosal says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Rosal claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul.
MMA veteran and analyst Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the chaos surrounding the supposed cancellation. According to him, he personally reached out to both camps, Jake's and Tank's, to confirm whether the rumors were true. But neither side gave him a clear answer. Sonnen explained that the silence itself was telling. When both teams avoid addressing a situation directly, he said, it usually means there's a deeper issue happening behind the scenes, something more than just scheduling or promotion. His comments have fueled speculation that the real reasons behind the cancellation might involve complex legal, financial, or even contractual problems that haven't yet been made public.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8.
With Tank's fight now officially off the table, Floyd Mayweather wasted no time in stepping forward. He openly called out Jake Paul, stating that he's ready to give the YouTube star turned boxer a real taste of elite boxing. Mayweather didn't hold back when speaking about Jake's skills. While he acknowledged Jake's success in building an audience and bringing new attention to the sport, he stopped short of labeling him a legitimate boxer. Floyd described a potential fight with Paul as too easy, suggesting that Jake lacks the experience and technical mastery required to truly challenge someone of his level. He further noted that while Jake has created a profitable niche for himself in crossover boxing, a fight against a genuine world-class fighter would expose the massive gap in ability, strategy, and conditioning between entertainment boxing and true professional competition.
There were many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability? Or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
Memayweather also reflected on how fans often wanted him to give rematches to his previous opponents, something he rarely did, and how that built a sense of what if around his legacy. He contrasted that with Jake Paul's career, pointing out that Jake's wins have often come against older, smaller, or retired fighters who are long past their prime. While Mayweather credited Jake for understanding how to sell fights and entertain, he warned that stepping in with a real, active boxer could lead to a rude awakening. Once he faces a true professional fighter, Floyd cautioned, the difference will be undeniable.
The question is just with like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer, what do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him,
Meanwhile, several boxing analysts and former fighters have taken this moment to revisit what truly made Mayweather such a dominant figure in his era. Beyond his speed, defense, and precision, they say the secret to Floyd's success was his mindset, his absolute, unshakable self-belief. Olympic boxer Tony Jeffries commented that Mayweather's mental edge allowed him to win fights before the first bell even rang. His aura of confidence, combined with flawless preparation, made opponents doubt themselves. That psychological warfare, Jeffries argues, was just as powerful as Floyd's physical skills.
Really confident, to really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
You fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of... And
adding even more intrigue to the situation, reports are now suggesting that Mayweather is pursuing another potential showdown, this time against none other than Mike Tyson. Analysts believe this move isn't merely about money. Instead, it's about legacy, a statement that Floyd is still the headline maker, even in retirement. With the boxing world focused on the Davis versus Paul drama, Floyd seems determined not to let his protégés steal the spotlight. This, many say, is classic Mayweather, a man who thrives on attention, competition, and the constant battle to stay relevant in an ever-evolving boxing landscape. For Floyd, staying in the conversation isn't just a choice, it's part of who he is.
Many celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
In the meantime, Jake Paul's promotional team appears to be shifting strategies. Multiple reports indicate that Most Valuable Promotions has been in contact with several top-tier fighters as potential replacements for Davis. Among those names, one stands out: Terrence Crawford, a pound-for-pound great and current world champion. If true, this would completely change the narrative. A matchup between Jake Paul and an elite fighter like Crawford would elevate the spectacle into something truly historic and far more credible than any of Jake's previous bouts. However, sources close to Crawford say no formal agreement has been reached, and discussions remain highly speculative. Still, the very idea of Jake facing a fighter of Crawford's caliber has reignited fan interest, suggesting that even in chaos, Jake Paul continues to find ways to keep his name at the center of the sport.
Technically scheduled for November 14 to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that one, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good-looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia was going against Jake Paul, but to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we've got? Terrence Crawford. I can't see Terrence Crawford entertaining this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terrence Crawford's getting on now, what is he, 37, 38 years old, had a great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terrence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him, he's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua, that never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him, it was a rubbish.
Not everyone, however, was excited about the original Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup. Former world champion Carl Froch has been especially vocal in dismissing the fight as rubbish, arguing that it lacked competitive credibility from the start. Froch said the fight made no sporting sense. Jake, he noted, remains largely untested as a professional boxer, while Davis is a proven world-class talent. To him, it was nothing more than a spectacle designed for clicks, not competition. True boxing fans, Froch insisted, deserve matchups that reflect skill and merit, not just entertainment value.
Absolute clown world, really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I've mentioned the weight disparity before, getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport, it should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with, because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit, he certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked.
British boxer Amir Khan shared a similar sentiment, calling the proposed fight a terrible mismatch. He criticized the promoters for even considering such a dangerous pairing, pointing out that Jake Paul reportedly weighs well over 200 pounds, while Gervonta Davis has never fought above 140. Khan said allowing such a size difference would be reckless and potentially harmful, arguing that if Davis accepted the fight, it might be purely for the payday, not because it made any athletic sense.
He gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he looks himself, the way he acts, and he's just full of himself as well, and he thinks he can fight, and he's only been boxing for what, like a year? But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on just.
However, some critics have taken the opposite view, questioning whether the fight really needed to be cancelled at all. They argue that since Tank remains physically capable, his legal situation shouldn't automatically prevent him from fighting. Historically, several athletes have competed while under investigation, so some fans feel this cancellation was more about optics and public relations than actual concern for fairness or safety. Others counter that given the severity of the allegations, allowing the fight to continue could have created a massive backlash and damaged everyone involved, including the promoters, networks, and sponsors. Either way, the decision has left fans divided, with passionate arguments on both sides.
Did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul and his team at Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you.
So now the question looms large. Should Floyd Mayweather actually step in to fight Jake Paul and give the fans the blockbuster they never saw coming? Or should promoters hold off, wait for Tank to clear his name, and give the original matchup another chance? Let us know what you think. Is this the dawn of a new era where legends take on influencers, or is boxing losing its soul to spectacle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.